Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, perfect. Today, we're going to be digging into some really interesting data about altcoin performance over the last 4 months.
Should be fascinating. There's been a lot of movement in the market.
For sure. And I think what's really going to surprise some people is just how well some of these altcoins have done.
Hmm.
We're not just talking about, the usual Bitcoin and Ethereum show here.
Right.
We've got some real underdog stories, some unexpected winners that are, they're really shaking things up. So whether you're actively investing, just kind of curious about the crypto space, or just, want to sound smart at your next dinner party,
Always good goal.
this deep dive is for you. Stick with us. We're about to break it all down.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's jump right in. According to the data we're looking at from mleon.ai, the top performer, believe it or not, is SUI.
SUI, huh?
Yeah, SUI, with get this, 124.77% increase. I mean, that's a pretty significant jump.
That's huge, yeah.
Now, for anyone who isn't familiar, SUI is a layer 1 blockchain. And what makes it unique is its intense focus on speed and scalability.
Right, and that's been a big bottleneck for a lot of blockchains.
Exactly. So how's SUI managing to kind of overcome that hurdle?
Well, they've got this really innovative consensus algorithm called Narwhal and Tusk. And what that does is it basically allows for parallel transaction processing, which is something a lot of other blockchains they haven't been able to crack.
So they're processing like multiple transactions at the same time.
Exactly. That's how they're able to achieve such high speeds and handle, really high volumes of transactions.
Interesting. So it sounds like SUI is really well positioned to kind of take advantage of the growing demand for faster, more efficient blockchain solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely one to watch.
Okay, so another big winner that I think a lot of people will recognize is Chainlink.
LNK?
LNK, right. It's on 83.01% increase. Now, Chainlink is an Oracle network, which essentially means it connects smart contracts with real-world data.
Yeah, kind of like a bridge between the blockchain and the outside world.
Exactly.
It's providing the information that smart contracts need to function.
So that's crucial for things like DeFi applications, supply chain management, anything that needs to interact with real-world events.
Lots of uses.
Right. But there are concerns about security when you're relying on these external data sources.
Yeah.
So how does Chainlink address that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you don't want to have a single point of failure or risk of manipulation. So what Chainlink does is it uses a decentralized network of nodes to validate the data. So you have multiple independent sources verifying the information before it even gets to the blockchain.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a checks and balances system.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about VeChain.
VEC.
VET. Now, this one's really interesting because it's a great example of how blockchain is being used to solve, like, real-world problems.
Right.
Specifically in the supply chain space. So VeChain is up 68.58%. And they're working with some pretty big names like Walmart China, BMW, even the French government.
Yeah, they've got some impressive partnerships.
They do. So how exactly does VeChain work in a supply chain context?
So imagine being able to track every single product from its origin all the way to the consumer.
Right.
With VeChain, that's possible. Each product gets a unique digital identity on the blockchain, and that allows companies to track its movement, verify its authenticity, and really streamline their entire logistics process.
It's all about transparency and accountability.
Yeah, and that's huge for industries like, food, pharmaceuticals, luxury goods, anything where counterfeiting or, supply chain disruptions are a concern.
So we've got speed with SUI, we've got real-world data with Chainlink, and we've got supply chain management with VeChain. It's clear that a lot of these successful altcoins are really focused on utility, on solving problems.
Definitely. There's a shift happening.
And that brings us to Hedera, HBAR, another one that's making waves in the enterprise space. It's known for its speed and its low transaction costs. And that's pretty appealing to businesses, especially those looking to, streamline their operations.
Yeah, it's kind of like the enterprise-grade blockchain.
So are you seeing a lot of companies adopting Hedera?
Oh, yeah. For sure. We're seeing interest from healthcare, finance, even some government agencies.
Wow.
And what's drawing them to Hedera is that it can handle a lot of sensitive data. It's really secure, and it's just really efficient.
Okay, so for someone who maybe hasn't been following blockchain that closely, why should they care about, a project like Hedera or any of these projects that are focused on these like enterprise solutions?
Well, think about it this way. The more efficient and secure these systems become, the more potential there is to improve all kinds of things, like healthcare records, financial transactions, even voting.
That's a really good point. I mean, I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the hype of crypto, but there are some really, really practical applications here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about a few projects that are focused on specific applications, but there's also a lot of, I guess you'd say, innovation happening in terms of how blockchains connect and interact with each other.
Right.
And that's where Polkadot comes in.
DOT,
DOT.
up 58.67%,
Yeah. So Polkadot is all about interoperability.
allowing different blockchains to basically communicate and work together.
So it's like breaking down those silos, those walls between different blockchains.
Exactly.
Why is that important?
Well, imagine a future where you can seamlessly transfer assets and data between different blockchains. Like, let's say you have some Bitcoin and you want to use it in a DeFi application that's built on Ethereum.
Okay, yeah.
Right now, that's not really possible, but with Polkadot, that becomes a reality.
Interesting. So it's about creating a more connected, more interoperable blockchain ecosystem.
Yeah, which is really powerful. It opens up a whole world of possibilities for developers and for users.
Makes sense. Okay, we got a few more to go, so let's try to keep things moving. We've got Avalanche,
The EVX.
EVX, right? Another high-performance blockchain that focuses on scalability. And then we've got a couple of really interesting newcomers that I definitely want to get your take on.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious to hear about these.
Okay, so the first one is Quibetics.
Petites.
They're focused on cross-border transactions. And what caught my eye is that they're really aiming to simplify and reduce the cost of sending money across borders, which is something
Yeah.
that could have a huge impact, especially for people in regions with limited access to traditional financial services.
Yeah, that's a big problem that, a lot of people are trying to solve. What's Quebetic's approach?
Well, they're using blockchain technology
Yeah.
to create a more efficient and transparent system,
Hmm.
and they're really focused on making it accessible to everyone.
Interesting.
Okay, so another newcomer to keep an eye on is Astra, ASTR. And they're really making a name for themselves in the DeFi space.
Yeah, DeFi is huge right now.
It is. So what makes Astra stand out from all the other DeFi projects out there?
Well, they've got a really strong community and a very active development team. They're constantly iterating, listening to feedback, which is really important in such a rapidly evolving space.
Right, so it's not just about the tech, it's about the community and the team behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, two more and then we're done. Theta.
Beta.
Now, they're tackling a really interesting problem. Decentralized video delivery.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, imagine a world where content creators aren't beholden to these centralized platforms.
And where users can earn rewards for sharing their bandwidth.
Exactly. That's what Theta is trying to build.
Very cool.
And then last but not least, we've got Helium. HNT now. They're building a decentralized wireless network for the Internet of Things.
So kind of like a people-powered network for all those smart devices.
Exactly. And that has some pretty big implications for industries like, logistics, agriculture, even smart cities.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've seen how altcoins are being used to solve real-world problems, to connect different blockchains, and even to disrupt entire industries.
It's an exciting time to be in the space.
For sure. But I think it's important to remember that the crypto market is volatile. And past performance is not necessarily indicative of future returns.
Definitely.
Right. So, as always, do your research, diversify, and understand your risk tolerance before investing in anything.
Good advice.
Now, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. We've talked about a lot of different altcoins today, each with its own unique approach and its own potential. But which one really stood out to you, and why? Maybe it was the project that surprised you the most, or the one that you think has the biggest potential to change the world. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time.
Happy exploring.